Kuzangbo, I'm Ashok Tirwa and we're live from Phuentshogling. We are outside the setting of Royal Institute for Governance and Strategic Studies, and in this discussion we'll try to find out which agency is responsible, which agency will maintain the infrastructure at Pasakha Industrial Estate. And to take the discussion forward, we have the Chief Urban Planner, Mr. Sring Phuncho, and the General Secretary of Association of Business Industries. And thank you very much for joining us. So, sir, what was the arrangement made between the industry owners, factory owners at Pasakha and the IDD when the industrial estate in Pasakha was established?
Initially, when the industrial estate leased the land to the industries, we had an lease agreement whereby we would pay the lease annually to the IIDD. And till 2013, they have been maintaining the basic infrastructure in Pasakha.
So, what changed after that? Was it in 2006 that the IDD decided to, or the industrial estate came under Thromde?
Yes. Thank you. Yes, the Pasakha Industrial Estate has come under Phuentshogling Thromde since 2006. However, the whole management and even the status of land and also maintenance of infrastructure was still under the IID. So far we, except since last year, we received the thumb of the area and also they paid for 2014 land tax. Before that, they have been paying tax to the Dungak or the GUPS office, and then so far we have not really discussed on the issue of infrastructure maintenance, maintenance of infrastructure in that area, since even the tax for the area was paid only for 1 year, which is last year. So
actually the land came under Thromde in 2006. So shouldn't the urban tax, when we are talking about urban tax, shouldn't they have paid the urban tax right after 2006? What was the confusion there?
Yes, anyway, when the municipal area or the Thromde area got expanded or extended, it takes some time for especially the institutional land issues to be basically dealt with. So while the private landowners were all transferred to city, some of the institutional land like Pasakha industrial area and also like industrial area which is existing in the core Phuentshogling area was really not handed over, and that was still maintained by Department of Industries. Now, but after that we followed up the status of what we are supposed to do with whether it should be a independently kind of managed kind of area, or since it's part of the city, they have to pay at least the land tax as per the law of the country. And accordingly, only last year we could resolve at least the area which is registered in the name of Department of Trade, Industry, I mean. So, however, there are government land in addition to that 70 acres which the Pasakha Industrial Estate, there is 70 acres of land which is registered as a industries land, which is then leased out to these people who are operating industries in Pasakha. And the present our lease rate, which is fixed by National Land Commission, is new 5 per square feet, and that is being collected by the IID, and I think that revenue is actually going to the finance.
What about the industries that are located outside IDD? How much of revenue do they pay to Thromde, or are they still paying to Department of Industry?
All the land lease rent is being paid to IID only. What they pay
even
is
the older
land tax.
Older industries
No,
that we have across Dhoti River.
In the core area, they handed over the whole area to Thromde 2 years back, and then we are leasing out the area. Only the Pasakha area is which is under discussion at the moment. Other than that, we don't have issue.
Which means there is a difference in rate, because factory owners who are paying land lease payment to the government, they're making payment to the government, they are paying lesser than what other industries are paying. So is it not possible for industry owners to maintain their own infrastructure? Based on this argument, that is what IDD has to say.
Yes. Actually, we have to, the industries may be able to, but we have signed a lease agreement with the IIDD. And since 2014, the IIDD has been paying urban tax to the Thromde, and that is when the air of confusion came up as to whether the Thromde or the IIDD are responsible for maintenance of the infrastructure. For as far as ABI, the industries are concerned, as long as the job is done, it doesn't matter whether Thromde does it or the IIDD does it. But having said so, the ABI on behalf of the industries would like to extend full cooperation for implementing this management thing.
So is it not enough for Thromde to, because some part of the revenue you have started getting, is it not sufficient condition for Thromde to carry out the maintenance of infrastructure in Pasakha?
So far, no discussion has taken place in whether the infrastructure will be maintained by city or themselves as or they'll continue as it is. That's why when we discuss about this maintenance of infrastructure, I think industrial estate itself is a little bit different than any other settlement. That's why we have to discuss in a detail. It's just not only the maintenance of the infrastructure by city. Industry has its own implications, complications. So the maintenance of infrastructure would be as far as city is concerned, the last issue. It's not really an issue as such.
What are the complications are we talking about now?
Being industry, the facilities and services, to be provided will differ to certain extent. It cannot be like a residential area where you put a normal basic infrastructure and services. So that's that the waste they generate and type of activity they carry out. So that needs to be looked into in a holistic manner. The issue here is, like as I said, the land, in fact, as per the Land Act, any government land should be under the custodian of Thromdes in case of urban land, I mean the government land, and they are the rightful authority to lease out the land. As per the Land Act, it doesn't say any of other agencies they will lease out government land. So that's why what we would like to say is, okay, whatever government land that is existing perhaps should be handed over to Thromde, and Thromde will lease out those areas, and that money can be plowed back to maintain the infrastructure and any new infrastructure. So this whether we of course they are also submitting the money to the government, and what is going to happen is, now money that is generated within the Phuentshogling Thromde can be accounted for, in fact, so that we plan the activity according to the budget. However, here, since money is collected, it goes to finance, and then again we have to get money from finance anyway. Government will be just paying for this thing. That's why, as long as these things are cleared, as I said, rest of the things are normal. I mean, within the city has to provide the infrastructure services.
No, thing is, now, can one government agency directly transfer a land into another government agency?
Government agency.
It must be registered under Department of Industry at the moment.
Just now, yes, 70 acres of land is registered under them. For that, they paid land tax last year. Land tax.
Land tax or urban tax?
land tax.
Land tax.
Urban land tax.
Uh-huh,
It's a land tax for both rural and urban.
Uh-huh.
So this is within the urban, so it's urban land tax. But for the rest of the area, which is purely government land just now, which might be leased out to the industrialists, so that if that can be at least then transferred to city, and that much of revenue can be generated.
So which means the industrialists will have to pay urban tax, municipal tax, as well as land
No,
tax?
if they pay lease, no.
Oh, okay. If they are paying lease, then
There is no land tax,
Land tax.
because it won't be registered. Lease is something which is a temporary thing, so they will pay lease rent of 5 rupees per square feet, and that's all per year. They won't pay any other tax on top of that. But for the structure also they have to pay. Just now there is no, we have not collected any tax for the, it's called house tax, building tax, whatever. So that is not collected. Only for the land we have collected for 2014, which is about 15 lakhs. Yeah.
Yesterday we went to Pasakha to see, the condition is not that bad, but we found some part of the roads have started, breaking down, and then drains were clogged. And then if this problem persists for a long time, what are the problems that you foresee in the future?
The industries, as such, we have some policy issues. We have been following up this with the governments, requesting them for concession and subsidy. And this infrastructure is very basic, and if you have this problem with this basic infrastructure also for the day-to-day operation of the industries, it would cause a friction in the smooth functioning of the day-to-day operation of the industries.
For day-to-day operation, it will hamper day-to-day operations?
Yes. For example, during the summer there is heavy rainfall and the drains fill and the trash all it comes in the road, and then the trucks plying on the roads, they have potholes in the road, and even when it comes to the basic infrastructure such as water facility, it's the individual industries have been arranging their own water supply. So these are the few issues we have been facing, and would cause friction in the smooth functioning of the industry.
So they have actually dug a bore well?
Yes.
For industrial use?
Yes. We have employed 3,500 national as we have provided employment for 3,000 national, and we have around 1,000 non-national also. So Pasakha itself is a town where these infrastructures are very much necessary. So
do you think it will lead to a health problem for workers that you are talking about? Is that a concern?
To an extent, yes. The industries right now are they arrange their own water supply, and I'm sure it must be treated. But the industries as a whole, they need water supply even for the machineries, continuous water supply. So if the concerned agencies, either the Thromde or the IADT could support, the industries would also extend their cooperation in fulfilling this basic infrastructures in the Pasakha industrial estate.
So as a urban planner, do you foresee a problem for the settlers there, because you said it's under the urban Thromde?
Yes. While we were preparing the structure plan for Phuentshogling, we looked into these issues, and definitely we found being within the municipal Thromde, and there are lots of settlement around the industrial area nearby. So that's definitely a concern to us. And then there was few the settlers around that area also submitted an application to Phuentshogling city, stating that there is some pollution that's coming out of those industries, and then like their agricultural crops are getting damaged, and then few complaints they had. And we submitted this application to NEC, and then I think NEC in general they are aware. So there was a meeting held last year, chaired by Honorable Secretary himself of NEC, and I think few issues were discussed, and then certain conditions were put, I think Jochu is aware of that issues lah. But definitely, unless those industries are maintaining the standard of pollution that is supposed to come out of that, for us is big risk to put people around that area lah. So that's why there's still an issue, and we hope that with the meeting that was held with the industrialists and the secretary, now things will improve. That's what we are hoping for. Being in this urban area, these are all private land, and we have to plan for the settlements lah. That's why there's a little bit of conflict, industry being within the town area. So more than the infrastructure, our worry will be more on the pollution if it's not controlled properly as per the standard that was set when they started the industry.
Okay. Then earlier we were showing some pictures that we took earlier, and then the more we see that those pictures, and then I've been to the site, and then it concerns all of us. So what I'm trying to say is, so let's come back to the handing and taking over the land from IDD to Thromde. What is the process and how long it will take?
The handing over of Throm, this called Throm, there's a record of land that's registered in the name of Department of Industry. That was basically, now we have the information. Based on that, they paid land tax for 2014. So that process is already actually done. Now, what I'm talking is about the rest of the area, which is a government land still, which is I think leased by the Department of Industry to the individual industrialists. So for that, if we can, if that land can be handed over as a government land to city, and if we lease it out, then that much of revenue, can be brought back into maintenance of the this infrastructure if city has to maintain that. But just now, as I said, we have not discussed on the issue.
So what should be done to bring this discussion up among the stakeholders?
No, the issue that
who should make a move?
What has happened
is it the industrialist, or is it the Thromde, or is the job of Industrial Development Division or Department of Industry?
Yes,
for that matter.
No, ultimately, ABI is representing the industries located there. So I think it's his concern, their concern, who should maintain and all these things. The only issue is now, because from 2014 they paid land tax amounting to 15 lakhs. Now they feel that perhaps cities should maintain the industry, this infrastructure. But I'm saying we should go beyond that. That is not the end of the story. This could be resolved, discussed at a certain level, and we can just thresh out the issue. But more than that, the pollution could be one concern that the city will have. And secondly, the land that is being leased to the individuals, the amount that is collected, that can be plowed back if city is allowed to lease the land. So these issues are all interlinked. Without money, we cannot maintain the infrastructure. If there's money, I mean, whoever has the money can maintain.
Who should start the process? Is it the job of ABI?
The ABI, on behalf of the industries, we are taking the lead on this, and we have this preliminary discussion on the possibility of having a meeting with the two agencies, Thromde and IDD, and we will thrash out this issue and then try to streamline the rules and responsibility for the maintenance of the infrastructure.
So now, what is ideal for industrialist? Is it better to be under Thromde or with the present setup that you have with IDD?
This actually, it depends on the conditions set by either the Thromde or the IDD. If you go with Thromde, I'm sure you have to sign a condition, an agreement. So it will depend on the clause of the agreement, then the agency, I think. For the industries, what is important is the work should be done. And if the Thromde takes up the responsibility.
So what kind of arrangement you have with IDD just now?
IDD right now, the basic infrastructure till 2013 they have been maintaining the infrastructure.
So they have been maintaining the structure, but is it ideal for the industrialists to be under the Industrial Development Division?
This, like I said, it will depend on the conditions. If we
So what kind of conditions are you looking at?
if Thromde is responsible, if they take over the industrial estate, the management will have their own conditions as to the lease, how the management will be done for the development of the infrastructure and maintenance. So if you refer this, until we refer and read these conditions, we will not be able to choose between the two.
So you'll be fine even if the whole industrial estate is transferred to Thromde, which means you'll have to pay higher than what
No, actually we are
industrialists are paying just now.
If I just in brief, if I tell you the lease rate, for the first 3 years is Nultram 4 per square feet, and on in the fourth year
Per annum.
For first 3 years, and the fourth year is Nultram 6, it 50% increase, so it comes to Nultram 6, and thereafter it's 3% increase annual per annum.
50%?
No, 3% thereafter. So the 50% is on Nultram 4, so it comes to Nultram 6, and thereafter it's there's an increase of 3% every year. So we are paying the lease, whether it's Thromde or the IAGD, we will be paying the lease, and they will be doing the infrastructure maintenance and the development.
But what I see is just now the industrialists are paying less while it is under IDD. Then because Thromde rate is bit higher, right?
They are paying more. In fact, just what they are paying to us is only the land tax, which is 50 chetams per square feet, whereas they will be paying over 6 Nultram per square feet as a lease fee to IIDD. Yeah. So that's why definitely they are paying more. So what we are saying is, since IID is already collecting about over 1 crore from the lease of land, definitely so far they have been maintaining the infrastructure, and as per the whatever arrangement, the issue here is that not that we would like to take over the management of the industry. That I think industry, they should continue with them. Here we are talking of the maintenance of infrastructure. So the present setup could basically continue. What they are paying to city is the land tax. Land tax doesn't mean after paying land tax you will get all the services. In the rural also you pay land tax, which is of course nominal. But in the urban, because you have other facilities and the land value is also high, so land tax is high. So just now the understanding is everybody feels the land tax is very much related to the infrastructure provision. Actually that's not true. Land tax is something because you are holding something in your name, for that you pay tax. You know. You have vehicle also and you pay tax for the vehicle. No, it's similar to that, holding that asset and you pay tax. Infrastructure is something which comes after that, and for that, for water you have to pay, for power you pay. Of course in general road, somehow there is no tax as such, so it's free. So that's why now when IID feels that now since they are paying land tax to city, now all the infrastructure should be maintained by city. Now from that angle what we are saying is, since it's a government department, then now as per Land Act, the government land should be leased by city. So if we lease out the land to the industries, then there's no issue. Of course we have to maintain everything there. Yeah, but since there's only 1.5 million of land tax, and rest of the collection is still on the land lease is with them, so the maintenance of issue, that's why there was no serious discussion at the moment. There's no request as such, but it's just now we are just they are feeling maybe because some tax is being paid to city and maybe city should maintain. It's just an indication, but so far we have not discussed in detail. But as I said, the land lease, if city is responsible and we take over that land lease part, we have to maintain.
So as long as this discussion doesn't take place, so nothing is going to happen.
I mean, there's no issue. IID will still continue doing what they are doing. They are collecting lease thing. Only they are paying, the land tax. As I said, is whoever is holding land in, town, Thromde, everybody is paying land tax. So this is.
But the government has made a huge investment there, millions of Nultrams.
Yes.
So can we leave it to that argument that okay, IDD is collecting the land tax and they are paying some amount to Thromde, and then nobody is actually, maintaining the place.
No, that whether they are maintaining or not maintaining, as I said, is independently managed at the moment. So we are not really aware of that. Since the physical handling taking over has not been done. So the city.
So on what basis the Thromde took that money from IDD?
No, that is land tax.
Land tax.
As long as you hold a plot of land, you have to pay tax.
So that don't guarantee that you have to maintain the infrastructure.
They don't guarantee.
Or is it not clearly defined, or there is a blurred line there, and then everybody is
here? The only
turning a blind eye.
The only difference is a government land which is being leased by an institution. Which city is supposed to do that? So that's what we have to clarify. So if that is done, the rest is all clear.
And then now you must be having a knowledge about this. What kind of arrangement are there elsewhere in the world, especially in a situation like this where industrial area falls under a municipal area, and then who actually looks after it?
No, that will depend upon different setup. We cannot just normally industrial estate is not really, it's not within the town even. It's outside most of the time, away from the settlement. It's not within the town itself. Here somehow it's next to the city, and then somehow it has been included. So, and that's why I'm saying it has got its own way of managing that industry. Depending on what kind of industry it is. The heavy metal industry. On there's if there's pollution, then we'll have problem. So that's why this kind of things will depend upon so many other setup of the arrangement. Here even the arrangement, the issue is only to maintain the infrastructure as far as I understand, and that can be resolved with just some clarification on the land issues and the taxation and the lease rent.
So what about, you must have talked to your factory owners under the ABI. So what do they suggest? What do they want?
Like I mentioned earlier, the ABI is taking a lead on this issue, and in consulting the Thromde and the IIDD, we are trying to thrash out the issues and try to streamline the responsibility as to who is supposed to maintain the infrastructure. So we are working on it.
So what kind of response have you received from Department of Industries?
Right now we have just done this preliminary discussion. It is not official, but I spoke with the officiating director of the IIDD, and he was very much he favored the meeting.
Are they willing to part away with the industrial estate they established?
This I think will, once you go into the detail.
What kind of you must have got some kind of
actually we just discussed on the possibility of having a meeting between the three agencies, and the details until we have this meeting we won't be able to tell the details. So just the IIDT has agreed that it's about time we sit together and resolve this issue.
Is there was there a positive indication that they might give it to Thromde?
This I cannot tell because we have to look at the rules and regulations and refer some land acts or other acts also. So it will not be the decision of one person, but a committee that will make the decision, I think.
Now the thing is, finally, would it be good thing to transfer that industrial estate to Thromde? Will you be able to manage and look after it? Because I think it's the Department of Industry who has the expertise in this.
Here I think I should clarify here. We are not saying that the industrial area as a management kind of thing that city is going to take over. Any land which is within the Thromde has to be accounted for. So that needs to be accounted. That's all the issue is all about. Because all the land that is within the Thromde has to be accounted, which means whatever registered now they have is under taken over in the sense that the record is taken over from the rural to urban and is maintained in the name of Department of Industries. And for that they pay land tax. But rest of the structure, the maintenance, everything, that will be done by them only. We are not going
They
to
should
take
do it.
over. Yeah,
And
they, of course, they are the expert in that. So they will, the only thing is the next what happens is then to maintain the infrastructure, which is outside the actual building of the industries.
Okay.
What is being done inside the industry is not, the city is not going to really, that management they will do it. So only the here issue is infrastructure and
The
land,
roads,
land,
drain,
yes,
you will clean the drains.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we should not confuse that. Okay, when because it's already under Thromde as an area. The only the thing is detailing of land. The maintenance of record, the leasing of government land. This is something which we have to work it out. And as I said, as per Land Act, Thromde is the authority who should be leasing out the land to others. So that's what we are saying basically. Now, if the issue of we are already following up on this, how to, some dialogue has been taken place, and then we'll further take up the issue. But this issue of maintenance of infrastructure, because they paid the land tax for 1 year, and then some indication, I think they are feeling that maybe city should maintain. But for that we have not even.
But it has to be clearly defined. And I hope
that
that it will happen soon. And on that note, thank you very much for joining us. And this has been a panel discussion on who should maintain the infrastructure of industrial estate in Pasakha. And I'm Ashok Tirua. Thank you for joining us. This is goodbye.